And good morning. I'm your friend Scotty Ray. We're starting this out at 51. Just a little bit of nip in the air outside, but I went out a few minutes ago. It's great. Feels good to breathe it in. It's not too cold, just kind of perfect. Be ready. We'll get to a high of about 85 today. So a warm day in store for us as we begin this. And as beautiful as it is, this will probably come to an end late tomorrow afternoon as we get a chance of severe weather. We'll get into all of that. Now, again, I don't want anybody to panic on this. Most likely will be a wind event more so than anything. We'll get some rain, but most likely our biggest threat to our area is going to be from gust and things of that nature. We'll get into that in just a moment as we begin this. Me and Odie were talking just a minute ago and reminiscing of the days when things really, really cost a lot. Like your very first camcorder. Anybody remember that? We'll talk a little bit about that coming up this morning. They were as big as a Winnebago, and they cost as much as one. I think we had to take out a loan to get our first one. Me and Angie just got married. Yeah. Odie knows what I'm talking about. He's relaxed over there getting ready. Mr. Coffee is what we're going to call him. We want to bring a smile to your face. We've got a lot to talk about. We'll bring up some headlines from the local area. Also, we've got major news stories that are affecting the United States. And then at 7, we're going to get into everything that has gone on locally. And boy, has there been a lot in the last 24 hours. We don't want you to miss a thing. Be here. Right now, we need to get a good word. We always got to get something to start our day and motivate us. Makes us better folks. Well, Collinsville's the place we go to, the First Baptist. Let's go out.
The way of the world is that when we put something in, whether it be money, work, or anything, immediately goes to those penny pressing machines that I would see when I went to the Memphis Zoo as a kid. You could put a penny at the top of the machine, along with some quarters, of course, and the machine would press the penny down to make a coin of some type of animal. It was a must-do whenever we went as a family. Sometimes, though, we can put in the work and not see the immediate results. I think about a farmer who, though they do the very best they can and they analyze the weather patterns and they test the soil, they ultimately have to trust the Lord to bring about the bounty that they need. It is that way so often in our walk with Jesus. We sow, but we trust God to do with it what He may. In Matthew 26, Mary anoints Jesus with expensive and valuable oil. It would have been about a year's wage. The disciples push back against it, saying, hey, this could go to the poor. But Jesus rebukes them because He truly understands what's going on. See, when Mary anointed Jesus with oil, she did not do so to see the results or to get Jesus to perform some miracle. She simply did it because she wanted to worship Jesus and she loved Jesus with her whole heart. So that begs the question, why do we come to Jesus? Why do we go to church? Why are we involved with the local body? Is it to try to get something out of it for ourselves? Or do we truly want to sit and worship Jesus? Have you been transformed by Jesus? Do you want Him for what He can get you, or do you just want Jesus? I pray you know Him as your personal Savior. Remember, change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. As always, good to hear from them. And don't forget, as we start this, they'll be there Sunday morning. You can join them for a church service. Now, one thing that we want to mention as we start out today is the possibility of dense fog where you are. Let's go to radar, pull this up. Here's Meridian Honda radar. Look at this. This dense fog advisory goes from Jackson all the way south to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, taking in Saraland, Mobile, all the way over to Crestview, Florida. Now, we are showing heavy fog here south of Hattiesburg. Look how thick this is, all the way down through Wiggins. Highway 90, if you're going to be in that stretch near Biloxi, it will be where you can barely see. We got a lot of fog starting now in Jackson, and there could be some small where you are as we see this creeping this way, and this will be in effect till about 9 o'clock this morning. So time yourself if you've got to go somewhere. If you can wait till after 9, do that. Always better to be able to see, but if you're traveling this morning, especially south of the Meridian area, allow extra time as you start your day. That's what we got to say that. As we look at tornadoes that swept through Oklahoma, headlines this morning, 2 people are dead from this storm as it hit them yesterday. Sad news with this. We send condolences to Oklahoma, and tornadoes are just dangerous. We know that. We've had so many come through our area and hurt others, but 2 is the death toll at this point as we look at this. They have found a missing U.S. Navy sailor, Seamus Gray. Seamus Gray has been found. He was pulled from Lake Michigan. We pass along condolences to family members on that also. Such a sad thing. As we look around this, Alabama, a small town, not far, probably was near Auburn. As we learned over the weekend, 20 people would be shot. A birthday party that went wrong. 4 dead, at least 20 injured. They arrested the third suspect yesterday. Everybody up on this story. Hopefully in the next day or so, we'll find out who, what, and why. Does your automatic thought lean toward gang? Yeah, it usually does. But it was somebody's sweet 16th birthday. Nearly a whole town. Wasn't it like, 3,000 people that lived in the town? We hate that. We'll get more on this as it comes about there. Alleged, but 3 people in custody over this. I also see that as we go to, where is this at? I wanted to find North Carolina. As we look at things of people that seem to snap these days too quick. A 6-year-old girl, her ball rolls into her neighbor's yard. What do? They shoot at a 6-year-old girl. Sparks off of it, and her face is injured where she did get fragments of a bullet in her face. 6 years old. The person that done it's on the run. They'll catch him. Thank heavens nothing else happened. Same goes for that young man that got confused, knocked on the wrong door that was shot. What is wrong with America? Another young lady, if y'all have seen this in the headlines the last few days, who was killed when her and her boyfriend accidentally pulled into the wrong driveway. Did y'all see this? And the guy shoots from his house, killed her. All because they pulled into the wrong driveway. Now, what does this cause? It causes issues because it gives the left ammunition, so to speak, of, well, we don't need that castle law to protect your own. We do need that. We've just got some folks that need to be examined, I think. Take responsibility is what it is for your actions. You can't do that. Right is right, wrong is wrong, and we need to get that to be our message that is out there. As we look around at a few more things happening this morning, this is getting interesting as we look at what's happening with Donald Trump, New York City. As this has gone on for, year, 2, 3 years where they've been trying to get him for fraud on his business. And, well, he's going to have to go and give his testimony as all of this. He's been formally charged. Republicans claim victory this morning as the judge has ruled that they will be able to subpoena the former Manhattan prosecutor over all of this, of his year-long effort to bring this to trial. They think there's more to it. Maybe there is, maybe there's not. Maybe we'll find out a little something on that. Maybe there was something more. They sure wanted that man, didn't they? Did you see where it happened so fast, and I've just glanced at it. I don't quite understand it, what they're there for other than raising money. Did you see where those little, baseball cards that Trump created sold out? $4.6 million in a moment of hours. Wow. They're like trading cards is what they are. And it has Donald, I think this round had him as Elvis, the comeback. He's clever. I got to give the man credit for all this. He knows how to make he does. $4.6 million raised from that for his campaign is what that's being used for. That's a quick look at what's happening nationwide. We're going to come back and get deep into your forecast to let you know exactly what's going on today. Y'all don't be rushing off nowhere. The Precast Group, offering you the best selection when it comes to a storm shelter. Located on 145 South in Meridian, where they offer above-ground shelters that can be installed in your home as you're built in, are conveniently located right outside your home if it's already built. They also offer storm shelters that can be installed in a slight bank or on flat ground. Protect your family today with a very affordable storm shelter from the Precast Group. Highway 145 South, 601-482-0003. The Precast Group.
Hello, my name's Kenneth Graham, and I'm running for coroner of Lauderdale County. For over 50 years, Lauderdale County's been represented by professional and competent coroners. I would like to continue that tradition. Over the next several months, I want to educate the public on what the coroner does and dispel any myths about the coroner job. I can show you that I will be the most professional coroner there is. So please vote for me August the 8th.
Paid for by the Committee for the Election of Kenneth Graham.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA, your Touchstone Energy Cooperative.
Well, as we start our look into the weather today, we go back to 1987, where our record high was set at 92. It will be 1953. It was just a cold day, about 20 degrees cooler than it is now, 33 back in 53. Again, we're starting the day out at around 51, somewhere in that neighborhood. Look at this. Perfect sunshine returning to the area today. 85 for us here in Meridian, the same as you go up Highway 19 and then 15 on up into Winston County and all the way to Stark, Vegas. Columbus Air Force Base, 85 today. Just as good to the south as we see 83 in Natchez, Brookhaven, 82. And again, keep in mind this area south of here full of fog this morning. As we look across to Alabama, 87 in Tuscaloosa, a little warmer. Burmaland, going to be about 86. Over in Hankland, as we go to Montgomery, it'll be about 88, and over to Auburn, 86. Great weather as well in Livingston. We should see about 85 in Livingston through Epps, Alabama, and those areas as well today. As we look at this, now this is a warning for it. Do not burn today. We have wildfire conditions, which means don't go burning boxes, limbs as bad as you want to. It's not worth it. Although we've had rain, it's too windy. We're going to have gusts today, and this can cause problems. And boys, work hard enough. Let's give them a break today. Don't burn. That's what we look at this. All this area here, if you see your county, Newton, Neshoba, Clark, Jasper, all these areas, Scott County on up into Macon and areas like that, don't burn. As we look at this, now this is that dense fog as we looked at our radar a moment ago, half a mile to a quarter of a mile. Worse south of here. Kemper County going to have a little bit of this in those low-lying areas as you're traveling about there. Be careful, Highway 16. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. Always, those two-lane roads are rough. A lot of traffic on there. Could be some fog on those highways. Highway 14 as well as you get up into Noxubee County. Be careful there. Now, this is the outlook of severe weather for tomorrow. Now, tonight, over the western side of the state, we'll have a little bit of rain there, starting to move through the Delta late tonight into the early morning hours. Now, tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow night is the threat of severe weather for our area. It's a level 1 as we look at this. Now, what does this tell us? We're going to get some rain, we're going to get some thunderstorms, but most likely all of this area, our biggest threat is going to be those wind gusts that come with these storms. We'll be here behind the scenes watching all this. If it gets bad, we go live to tell you where that storm is in relation to where you are. So we won't leave you alone. We know how it is to be out there and not know what's coming. So we'll be on top of that. As we look at the threat of the flash flooding, and this is why I say we've got more of a wind threat. Look at that. Most of the heavy rain is going to stay west of us, missing all of Neshoba County, Lauderdale, Winston County, Macon, and as we go to Clark, it's going to be more of a western and southwestern storm away from us. They'll get the heavy rains. We'll get a little wind. Not to say that we're not going to get thunderstorms, but worse elsewhere. Now, as we move into looking at these temperatures, we see that right now, don't y'all enjoy this kind of 51, 52 mornings? They're perfect. There will be days in our future that we will beg for days like this. But right now, enjoy it. We do have warmer weather out in California and also there in southern Florida. As we look at our temperatures, as we go to Wilson Sawin Outdoor Power, what do we got today? 85 by tomorrow. Temperatures will decrease because of this storm that's coming in. 76 there. As we go into Saturday, now we will have some issues there, probably late. We'll watch this closely for all the events that start on Friday. But as we get into Saturday, it looks great. If you've got an outside event happening Saturday, the 3-Foot Festival for one, shouldn't be any trouble whatsoever with the event that's going on. Now, as we move on into Sunday and head off to church, 72, cooler, isn't it? Might want to take, if you're thin-blooded like me, you might better want to take you extra little jacket just to make sure, because we're waking up to a 49 as you get there. Back to work on Monday with a high of 70, and then thunderstorms move back into the forecast on Tuesday, Wednesday, highs of 79, but we do have rain both days there. Now, let's move ahead all the way to May the 4th. We see 69, and then we start seeing that warming trend go back right after May the 1st. They start climbing up mid-70s and the upper 70s there with chances of showers there. We'll watch it closely to let you know if there's any threat of severe weather that moves in these areas. Now, let's talk about something that's important to a lot of folks. And you think, what would that be? It would be, where do I go fishing today? Chet tells us the perfect time was, let's see, it's going to be around, this afternoon, 1 o'clock till about 3 o'clock. That could mess up your lunch hour. If you're working, it's a bad day to fish. If you can get away, it's perfect. So good luck with that. 1 to 3 this afternoon is a perfect time to go fishing. Take a kid along. It's a great sport. Laura, how are you this morning? Good to see you there. Sheila Mathis, Speed, how are you? Mike Dallas is up. Lois, good morning to you. Roy is joining us. Brian, Mandy, yes. Richard Nelson, I like old Richard. Good to see you there as well. So many of you up in Janice Bounds, I see you. Laura, Elmer, so good to see each and every one of y'all. We thank you for being a part of this. Now, we're just getting started. We've got 10 minutes or so before we start the next show. Make sure to come back. We got a lot of information to give you. This happened right here. Odie's ready. We're getting coffee. We're going to be prepared for the situation. Join us, won't you? It all gets underway shortly here at the Scotty Ray Report.
The Scotty Ray Report is brought to you by our following partners: